Okay, well, welcome everyone. Welcome to the Flagstaff Group's first podcast for the recycling division. So I'd like to welcome Scott Simmons and Mark Christie from the Oatley Resources company. So welcome, guys.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks for asking us down.
Right, so I wanted to do this podcast to actually showcase what we do here at Flagstaff by employing people with a disability as a social enterprise, but also to actually discuss what we do in the recycling space, but then what sort of benefits we have for the environment by actually doing what we do, and that's baling cardboard, paper products and plastic products, and then go out into the market as a commodity. And then, what happens to it? How does it get processed? Where's it go? What sort of benefits does it have for the community generally? What sort of benefits does it have for the environment? So I wanted to talk to you two guys because we first met about 12 months ago, sorry, a bit more than that now, probably 14 months ago. Yeah.
COVID makes things a bit further ago than you thought it was, because you got to add on 6 months. Yeah,
100%. So I want to talk to you two guys because, as I said before, you really impressed me with your knowledge in the industry, and when I first came to the industry, I was pretty green in terms of all the different markets out there, all the different ways to look at the industry. And Mark, one of the things that you said to me that rang true, and I've kept in my mind ever since, is that we need to start to look at finding what products are needed out there, and then make those products, as opposed to making a product and then looking for a buyer. And I sort of kept that in mind with a lot of things that I've been doing. And if we get time, I'll talk about something we're trying to work with BlueScope Steel, with breaking their pallets up for the oxygen steel making process. If we get time, we'll talk about that. But before I do, because I'm talking too much, before I do is, Mark, I want to just throw to you, mate, and just tell us a little bit about Oatley Resources, mate, and where you fit in the industry.
Yeah, well, Oatley Resources, we're a commodity trading company, and we target or focus on, specialise on recovered recyclable resources, paper and plastics. So what does that mean? Well, it means good old-fashioned, we buy those types of products from recycling companies, and then we sell those products to the end user markets or the processors. So we buy in bulk. That's always an important thing to say. Like, a load of your cardboard is 20 ton of material, and we tend to buy and sell in that type of unit size. That can be one truck or container, or it could be 20 trucks or containers. So it's larger volumes. So
to put that in perspective, and I'll help you through this bit. So at Flagstaff, we receive cardboard from a company called Opal or Cleanaway or Mondes, shopping centres, process the cardboard. It comes here, we put it through a baling process, and it comes out in a bale between about 900 kilos and a tonne. Yeah. Okay, and we'll ship that to you guys, it goes in a shipping container.
Or a truck. Or so we will buy and sell both locally in Australia, but we also are involved in buying and selling overseas. So we're a locally based trader. We'll buy and sell and align and target local processing or end users, but we also have an overseas marketplace, and that, I think people find that quite interesting about the scale of an overseas marketplace. So we'll buy paper products like cardboard, and we'll buy plastic products like PET bottles, for example, and even in the last, couple of months, we've sent materials to Europe, to North America, to South America, to India, to Southeast Asia, which I think most people consider an obvious target from Australia, and until recently, China, we were still taking material. So we really are playing in a global marketplace, and it's an interesting point. We try and share this with our supplier clients, that what you do here is a mirror of what people all over the world are doing. They're receiving maybe multiple loose material in small collection size quantities. It comes to a facility that can consolidate those materials And when there's enough of those materials, they can be transported or bulk hauled to end users. It's just interesting to note that an end user of that product could be as close as Sydney or as far away as Hamburg.
Like for instance, our cardboard, well, a large percentage of our cardboard is owned by a company called Oatley, and it goes to the Botany Mill.
Yes.
So it goes from being corrugated cardboard here, pulped in Sydney, and made into cardboard, or into paper that is then made into cardboard boxes.
Yeah, and going back to your note when we first met, and the point that I made is a key question to always ask is, why are we doing this? Why do we recycle? And what we're doing with cardboard and other plastics or other materials such as plastic, we are substituting the need to use raw product. So, the simple question, is there a benefit to recycling? If you take cardboard as an example, a cardboard or a paper mill that wants to make paper has two choices. And this is mirrored in all types of recycling process. You can use raw virgin product, which a paper mill would use wood or wood chip or trees, or you can substitute that by recovering the cardboard and reusing it. So that's basically the model for recycling. You're trying to recover the goods again so you don't have to use raw product. Now, that might seem sort of a basic statement, but when you consider that, of course it answers the question, is this worthwhile? Because if you don't want to cut down trees, you want to recover cardboard. If you don't want to produce more and more new virgin plastic, you'll try and recover the plastic that we've already produced for reprocessing or remanufacturing.
So it's got a commercial, I suppose it has to have a commercial sense about it, and also environmental impact as well.
Yeah, and those things have to be considered to make it all fundamentally feasible, doesn't it? If there are lots of things that we could target to recover where there just isn't a commercial viable marketplace at the moment. So it goes back to what you're saying is the comment we made before is, if you think about why we're doing it, we're doing it to recover products instead of virgin material. You have to ask yourself, who's doing this? Who are we doing this for? And that's why we believe the focus is on these end users or the manufacturers. Without them needing the products, there's no industry whatsoever. So it's about saying, what are they doing? For example, Busy and Opal in Sydney are making paper to make more cardboard. And if you understand what they're making, you can work backwards to understand what you can give. Yeah. A mistake many people make in the recycling industry is they collect a product first because it may or may not, be recyclable or recoverable, and then try and work out where to send it.
I want to take this opportunity now to throw Mr. Simmons, Scott Simmons. Welcome, mate.
Thank you, buddy.
Where do you fit in the? Because I know that I deal directly with you. I don't have a lot of direct contact with you, Mark. So I'm dealing with you, Scott, as a customer. So can you just take me through, a normal day with you and how you fit in the Oatley Resources business?
Yeah, sure. I guess I deal with a lot of the recyclers, whether face-to-face or over the phone, I guess more with COVID and not being able to get around much in the last 6 or 8 months. But yeah, I'm dealing with a lot of the recyclers and talking to them about what they're producing and where we can find homes for them, or as Mark suggested, the other way around, what they should be producing and what they can target in the marketplace, and what sort of recyclables they can aim to recover that has a value and has an end user. Because that's, as Mark's indicated, that's the key thing, rather than people coming to us and saying, well, we have this, is there any homes for it? Where it's sort of all too late, you've got it in your yard. And if the answer is no, it's everyone's wasted time. But, I suppose we're trying to marry up what people have or what people need to what people have.
Hey, do you want to just talk to me about, this is something that I've had some chance with recently. We bale clear soft plastic. Now, that's known in the industry as LDPE4. That's low density polyethylene, right?
Yep.
And what the customers that we deal with, we go and collect on their behalf, they just really don't get the business of, well, why can't I put blue plastic in it? Why can't I put light blue plastic in it? Why can't I put plastic that you can tear rather than plastic you can put your finger through? So when you're looking to buy a bale of plastic from me, I'll ring you and say, Scotty, I've got some plastic interested, and you'll say, send me some photographs. And as we know, it's not just send me any sort of photographs. You'll take me through that process, what you're looking for from the processor like me for quality.
Yep. Yeah, well, we obviously love photographs, and if we can visit and get our own photos, but so we can understand or try to understand the quality. The quality again will determine what buyers are available for that particular material. Quality for plastic, as we say, as you said, it's LDP, low density polyethylene. There's specific buyers. Some of them like the shrink wrap type of low density, and then it even gets further. There's an LLDP, a linear low density. There's a medium density. There's a high density. So there's all different plastic. Where people say plastic, there's so many different variables within it.
So just on that, mate, I want to let you talk here, but on the density, so when it goes to the place that you sell it to, they'll melt it down into pellets, right?
Yep.
So the density, correct me if I'm wrong here, that determines what temperature it will melt, is that right?
Well, I'm glad you've asked the questions you've asked, because you've now officially made this podcast a 15-episode series, so we can correctly work through the difference. I'd probably take it one step back just to make the point on the question that you asked, and how interesting that already opens up the need for the real detailed feedback or education or knowledge. Even the phrase, the film is LDPE, could be actually not correct. So plastics, we really need to start everyone talking about polymers. So just as we say metals, and metals we all know could be silver or gold or aluminium, we don't say that's a metal, or we might start the conversation by saying that's a metal, but then we'll ask ourselves, what type of metal is it? Exactly the same. Plastics is the family name. Within the plastics there are different polymers, and those polymers are all fundamentally different, just as gold and silver are different.
Or steel and gold.
Yeah, they're fundamentally different. Now, so one key thing is to say what polymer is that, and the next question to ask is what format is that polymer in? Now, film is one format, but just because it's a film might not mean it's LDPE, polyethylene, low density polyethylene. It could be an HDPE film. It could be a PET film or a PP film or a multi-layer film with all different polymers. Yeah, so the point is that you can't actually make any initial assumptions until you actually identify what the material is. The first thing to always do with anything you think might be recyclable or recoverable is actually identify it. And that may need, with plastics, that actually I might need, experienced people, sure, but even experienced people can't often, we don't have X-ray vision, we might need to send materials to a laboratory to get tested. But the key thing is to actually identify it. If we assume it's clean LDP film, or we know it is, at that point we can look for processors of LDPE film.
Tell me about your red sock theory, mate.
The red sock theory, yeah. So the red socks theory is something I often share with people when, for the example of LDPE. If there's something else in that LDPE bale, and it could be as simple as a piece of a PET bottle is in the middle. And initially people might not think that is important. Oh, there's only a small piece of PET and a large piece of polyethylene.
So for our listeners, sorry to interrupt, mate, because I want to hear what you say about this, but for our listeners, PET, is that like the plastic top on your milk bottle?
No. PET is your Coca-Cola bottle or your lemonade bottle, fizzy drink bottles.
Your water drink bottle.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and your milk bottle is HDPE, natural. But yes, what can happen is, I think the example we discussed, it could be a different material in a say a bale of LDPE, or it could be something that's a different colour in a clear bale of something. And for an end user processor, once they process it all, it can only take one rogue red sock, as I call it, that when they produce the pellet out the other end, they can contaminate the whole batch. So for an end user, it's very important what they buy is pure, the quality and pure material for what they need. You contaminate it with something, it could be very significant. It might not be. It might be not very significant, but it can be the red sock and the white wash, and the whole wash is shaded pink, yeah. So this is when people ask about how important quality actually is. If we're producing goods in lieu of virgin products, then the quality needs to be as pure and clear as virgin products, which is a high benchmark, but that's actually what we need to try and achieve.